The drama surrounding Mike Tyson and Mitch "Blood" Green remains one of the wildest sagas in the history of boxing. It is the story of a street gangster who dared to insult and threaten one of the most feared fighters alive, and of how that decision would leave him beaten, humiliated, and remembered not for his toughness, but for the ridicule that followed. To understand how this rivalry unfolded, we need to go back to the mid-1980s, when a young Mike Tyson was just beginning his meteoric rise. At only 18, Tyson was already more than a fighter. He was a phenomenon. Trained by Cus D'Amato and honed into a relentless predator, Tyson destroyed everyone placed in front of him. Fans were stunned not only by his power, but by the way he carried himself. There was no robe, no elaborate walkout, no excess glamour. He entered the ring, bare-chested, black trunks, black shoes, no socks, his eyes burning with menace. Tyson needed no theatrics because he was the show. And in New York, a man named Mitch Green was watching. Mitch "Blood" Green was not just another contender. He was bigger than Tyson, towering over him in height and reach. But Green's reputation came less from his boxing ability than from his life on the streets. He was a gang leader, a man feared in New York for his criminal ties, his aggression, and his willingness to fight anyone, anywhere. His mouth was as sharp as his fists, and he wielded it as a weapon. He didn't simply promise to beat Tyson, he promised to kill him. He mocked Tyson publicly, boasting that Iron Mike was overrated, that his own size and toughness would be enough to crush him. What made this feud even more dangerous was their shared history. As kids, both had been linked to rival gangs in New York, and their paths had already crossed in conflict. The tension simmered for years, and when the fight was finally signed in 1986, the animosity boiled over. Green came into the build-up not as a humble challenger, but as an enemy, attacking Tyson with words meant to humiliate him. "You hit me, I'll kill you," he warned. His arrogance was absolute, his confidence unshaken. Fight night at Madison Square Garden was electric. Tyson entered with his trademark cold focus, eyes locked on Green, every step radiating the aura of a warrior ready for destruction. From the opening bell, the difference between them was undeniable. Tyson exploded forward with his signature speed and power, overwhelming Green instantly. The gang leader, who had strutted into the build-up so confidently, was suddenly backpedaling, surviving, clinging to the hope of lasting another round. Tyson could have ended the fight early. Everyone knew it. But instead, perhaps fueled by Green's endless insults, he chose a different approach. He decided to punish him. For 10 rounds, Tyson battered Green mercilessly, toying with him like a cat with a trapped mouse. He grinned in the ring, laughed at his opponent, and made him suffer. Every round was the same: Green clinching, holding, doing anything to survive, while Tyson rained down blows that echoed through the garden. By the final bell, the result was inevitable. Tyson won by a wide unanimous decision, and Green walked out of the ring battered, humiliated, and mocked. But for Green, the pain wasn't just physical. It was the wound to his pride. This was a man who lived by reputation, by fear, by the image of being untouchable. Losing to Tyson, and losing so badly,
I didn't want to knock him out. I wanted to put a lot of pressure on him.
While Tyson's
and make
career
him
soared
try
winning
himself
titles,
with give up.
unifying belts,
He wouldn't
and
get knocked out.
becoming
If
the
you hit it on the
undisputed
chin,
heavyweight
he can't see
champion,
the
Mitch
punch, and
Green
he'll
was
say,
left to stew
"Oh, I didn't
in
see the punch. I got
bitterness.
knocked out."
2 years passed.
Tyson is invited.
Tyson was at the very peak of boxing, a global icon. But Green couldn't let go of the humiliation. He carried the loss like a curse, and the resentment consumed him. He still spoke of revenge, still believed that somehow, someway, he could even the score. And in August 1988, the streets handed him his chance. Tyson stopped by a clothing store in Harlem, an area close to Green's old gang territory. Word spread quickly, and soon Mitch Green knew exactly where his rival was. This was it, the moment he had been waiting for. Green stormed to the store, bursting in with the same aggression and insults he had always thrown, demanding confrontation. And Tyson, never one to walk away from a challenge, gave him exactly what he asked for. The fight that broke out wasn't under the lights of Madison Square Garden. There were no referees, no gloves, no cameras. It was raw violence on the streets of Harlem. Green lunged forward with fury, but Tyson's response was devastating. A single thunderous left hand shattered Green's face. Blood poured, his eyes swelled grotesquely, and his nose broke instantly. Tyson, cold and unflinching, landed more shots before climbing into his car and leaving the scene. Green was left standing in the aftermath, his face mangled, his pride shattered. Doctors later stitched his wounds, repairing the broken nose and swelling that had ballooned his eye shut. But the damage wasn't just medical, it was public. When he appeared afterward, his heavily swollen face became a national joke. Comedians mocked him, interviewers laughed, and the once feared gangster was reduced to a caricature. His swollen eye, drooping and disfigured, was ridiculed so heavily that it became the lasting image of his career. For Tyson, it was another chapter in his legend, proof that his dominance extended far beyond the ring. For Green, it was the ultimate humiliation. A man who had once promised to kill Tyson, a man who claimed to be the true warrior of New York, had been beaten into ridicule not once, but twice first under the bright lights, and then in the unforgiving daylight of the streets. And yet, strangely enough, that humiliation may have saved him. With time, Green stepped away from the streets, away from gang life. He turned to faith, transforming himself into a pastor, preaching redemption instead of violence. Whether it was genuine reflection, or simply the only path left for him after years of mockery, no one can say for certain. But the irony is inescapable. The man who once threatened to kill Mike Tyson ended up turning to God after Tyson's fists left him broken. The saga of Mike Tyson and Mitch Green is one of boxing's most dramatic rivalries, not because of championship stakes, but because it revealed something raw about both men. For Tyson, it showed how little tolerance he had for disrespect, how insults could fuel him to cruelty. For Green, it was a lesson in arrogance, a reminder that words can summon storms you cannot survive. New York has seen many street legends, many fighters, many gangsters who believed they were untouchable. But Mitch Green's story is a cautionary tale. When you provoke a man like Mike Tyson, when you threaten his pride and his reputation, you'd better be ready to pay the price. Mitch Green wasn't, and he spent the rest of his life remembered not as the conqueror of Iron Mike, but as the man who mocked him, fought him, and walked away with his face destroyed. So what do you think? Did Mitch Green seal his fate the moment he opened his mouth, or could things have been different if pride hadn't blinded him? And do you believe his turn to faith was a true redemption, or simply survival after humiliation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of boxing's wildest rivalries, hit that like button, subscribe for more dramatic stories from the fight game, and join us again as we uncover the untold dramas that shaped the legends of the ring.